everybody, and welcome to the Positively Disney Phone In Show, episode 67. I'm Kimberly Bouchard, your host and the author of the Positively Disney book series. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. To my Twitch followers, my Facebook folks, and I see Michael. Welcome to my husband Jacques, and Stan from Canada has joined us as well. It has just been a crazy busy weekend. I was actually signing my books at the Washington State SummerCon. So it's kind of my kickoff to several book signings I've got lined up for the next several months. And I met some amazing people. The fans out there are absolutely fantastic. And we have an epic Toy Story 4 opening on the 21st. I'm actually going to be in Disneyland that day, so I won't be able to watch it or see it in a theater. But I did meet one of the characters from Toy Story. And John Ratzenberger, of course, voices Ham and numerous other characters for Disney and Pixar. But he was just such a lovely man, really, really just amazing person to talk to and hang out a wee bit with this weekend. And he actually raised his children on Vashon Island nearby me. And I thought that was really fun because I didn't actually realize that to begin with. And so that was kind of fun. I also actually had the great, privilege to talk to a number of some of the Star Wars folks as well this weekend that were there. And I didn't realize until just recently that actually John also played a small part in Empire Strikes Back. He played Bren Derlin, who was also in the animation of the Lego series, The Freedom Adventure. So that was really kind of neat to discover that John not only has this amazing career as an actor, voiceover actor in that, but he also had a part in Star Wars. Another person I had a really lot of fun chatting with is Tamir Morrison, Jango Fett. And as we're talking, he actually noticed my cell phone cover. I've got an R2D2 cell phone cover. And before I know it, he was signing his name on my cell phone cover. I wouldn't give him my cover, so he thought he'd leave a little bit of himself with me. And he was just another lovely fellow that I met this weekend, as well as hung out with a friend of mine, Corey D. Williams. He's just a wonderful human being. He played Klaatu, and he did some stunt doubling for his dad in Empires or Return of the Jedi, actually. Sorry. And so it was just a really fun weekend. Met his dad, Billy D, as well. That's pretty incredible to be that of that era, that a lot of film happening around Billy D, and yet he still is going to be in episode 9 at 82 years old. That's kind of incredible when you think about, if you know anybody else in your life, that's a tall order to be doing those films yet. Anyways, I want to get on with my show, but before I do, I want to thank my sponsor, Michelle McCune, over at Years of Experience, and she can get a program, an itinerary fit for your family, be it special needs concierge or anything actually that you desire. But she offers texting access in the park. So she actually just booked my Disneyland vacation. I'm going just for a few days with the family. I've got a reservation at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge on Saturday at 11 a.m. I'm not sure if any of you guys are going to be there at the same time, but I'm really excited. And it was just kind of perfect timing to be able to have a couple of folks on that have recently visited Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And I thought it would also be fun to hear from a he perspective and a she perspective, because we all see things differently, and depending on our sort of our tastes and things like that. Want to say hello to Scott and to Kate, who joined us, and Rob as well, and Chris, actually. Hi to you guys. Thanks again for joining me tonight. So I'd like to get started talking with a fellow. He's actually a friend of mine in the local area. Oh, I want to just say also to the Freeman 600, Mary Poppins at 55, who will be on the show somewhat soon, that are tuning in with Twitch TV tonight. So thank you for joining me, you guys. So let's get started. We're going to get Dawn Morin on the phone. huge Disney fan, Disney lover from this neck of the woods, and he does frequent Disneyland as often as he can. And he just went to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge recently too. Hi, Don.
Hello,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm great. Welcome to the show. You are a first-time guest, so welcome, welcome, welcome.
I am. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, well, of course. And I was just telling people that you are from this neck of the woods and you try to go to Disneyland as often as you can. And you had a reservation that took you over about two kind of time periods as far as day versus night. So I just want you to tell the audience when you went and what time your reservation was to start things off.
Sure. I went a couple of weeks ago, about 10 days ago, I guess, on Friday, I think it was the 6th. Yeah. It's Friday nonetheless. And I had a reservation for 5 p.m. to 9 p.m., which I agree with what you just said. I mean, it was over two time periods, which is daytime and nighttime. So I got to see it in the light and the dark.
Wow. So what was your impression? So let's do it in two stages, Don. What was your first impression entering Galaxy's Edge? What was it? What was the very first impression?
That was a big pause. Galaxy's
to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I know. I'm just like, I was trying to imagine walking in and I was kind of like thinking, I'm going to be doing that on Saturday. And I was thinking, I wonder what I would feel like, but I don't know what I'm going to feel like. So go ahead.
Yeah. You know, I have a maybe not a unique perspective because a lot of people are like me that are my age, which I was 10 years old when the first Star Wars came out. And that was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen, you know? Yeah. And so I've followed them ever since.
Yeah.
And really, you know, love all the Star Wars films. So giving you that background and perspective, walking in, just the anticipation of waiting to get in, the queue line back by Hungry Bear restaurant at Critter Country at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And waiting for our time, you know, they kind of rolled us in a few minutes early into kind of we went through the tunnel underneath the train, but you know, the scenery changed a little bit, but we weren't quite in yet. So the anticipation was really high. There was a lot of excitement around me as well as with us. It was a great feeling hanging out with all these people that were so excited to be there the first time too.
Oh my gosh. And you walk in and what do you see?
How much detail do you want?
Well, take it away.
Yeah. So we walked in kind of I guess it's not the backside, but it kind of is from Critter Country. And so the land is kind of split up into the town and the outskirts.
Okay.
And the Rebel Alliance or the good guys, they're kind of on the outskirts of town. So when we first entered, we kind of went through their area and this woodsy, you know, it's kind of wild. There was a queue line for the ride that isn't open yet. That's going to open up in a few months. Yeah. So you could hear sounds from the queue line.
Fun.
We got far enough to see an X-Wing fighter, like actual size. That was,
wow.
I mean, you dream about that since you first saw the first movie, right? Yeah. And we got to see one. It's making noise. It's steaming. The engines fire up and power down. I mean, that was so cool.
Yeah.
And you can see the city off in the distance, the mountains, the spires. It was a little bit overwhelming and just really emphasized the excitement that, you know what, this is really happening. This is really cool.
Yeah. Now you were saying you're lined up for queue. So like, did you a bunch of you line up just to get in sort of first or how long did you have to wait in line for to just get into the land?
Yeah, that's a good question. They wouldn't like our reservation time was 5 o'clock. Right. And so we went there about 4 at the one tunnel near Critter Country or Hungry Bear restaurant. And they turned us away. They said, yeah, you can't even come here and line up until 5 o'clock.
Oh.
Well, we got back at 4:30.
Yeah.
And there was people lined up already. So we should have just hung around.
Okay.
But they scan your wristband and make sure that you're legit going in. And then they don't want the queue line going into Critter Country, so they take you through the tunnel and in a little ways, and there's not much to see at the very beginning. So they took you in there, and you're kind of hanging out. Chewbacca came through the line and kind of got us all excited, giving high fives. That was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
So there wasn't a huge wait to get in, you know, before the 5 o'clock reservation, but right at 5, they walked us in, and it was just amazing.
Were there a lot of people in there while you guys were going in there, or were there people moving out at the same time, or how did that work as far as crowds go?
Yeah, it wasn't very crowded except for a couple places. One was the cantina, which took, you had to get there first and get a dining reservation, which they ran out before I got there. So we did not get to go in the cantina. So I got to go back very soon.
Okay.
So if I could give you any advice when you go, it would be when they bring you in, go straight to the cantina and get that dining reservation.
Okay. And is that like a table service dinner kind of thing, or what is the reservation involved there at the cantina?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the cantina is similar to a Trader Sam's type place. They have drinks, a little bit of food.
Okay.
And so it's extremely popular. And then the other two lines were to make a lightsaber.
Okay.
Make your own lightsaber, and then build your own droid. Those were the longest lines.
Okay. So now the one attraction that's open, did you have to wait long to get into that line as well, or?
When we first got in, we looked at Cantina, and they ran out of reservations, so we walked directly towards the Millennium Falcon. And let me tell you, the reveal, when you walk through this kind of over an arch over the town, and the reveal of the Millennium Falcon's overwhelming. I mean, it's actual size. It's there. It's making noises, doing things, lighting up. So that was a little overwhelming. We had to pause for that. But the wait for the attraction, it was never over 25 minutes for us until the next wave was going to come in. And then when that wave came in at 9:00, then it went up to 45 minutes. But
you're limited to 4 hours. So you'd want to, did you did you go on the attraction more than one time? I think you did, right? How many times?
8 times.
8 times.
Yeah.
Eight. So, so if I do the math, you were basically in line the whole time. You couldn't have been. I mean, you must have gone through quicker than 20 minutes, I would say. Yeah. Yeah.
20 minutes was the longest.
Okay.
But the other times, it was as low as 10 minutes. You walked right through the queue line, and the line got long, like I said, 45 minutes later on.
Yeah.
And so we went to the single rider line, and it was basically walk on.
Oh, okay. That's great to know. So maybe the first time, do it all together with the family. There's 5 of us, and then just do a walk on just to experience it several times. Wow. 8 times, Don. That's pretty epic.
we had to do that because it's so interactive, and you're inside the Millennium Falcon. You get to fly the Millennium Falcon, or at least be in the cockpit.
Yeah, that is wild. Oh my gosh.
And for a 10-year-old kid like me, going back to when I first saw the first Star Wars, that's like the dream come true, right? I'm in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. I've got a guest asking, is it okay with someone that it has motion sickness sensitivity?
If you can ride Star Tours, you can ride this.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful to know. And so now you didn't make it into the cantina, but you mulled around. If you weren't flying the Millennium Falcon, you were obviously mulling about. So what, did you eat anything? Because you're very good at telling me about the meals and the snacks and things like that. So did you have anything to eat in there, or?
We didn't have time to eat. We looked. There's so many nooks and crannies in Galaxy's Edge, in the town of Batuu. There's so many things to see. I mean, there's interactive things on the walls, buildings on the outside, on the inside. There's buttons near doors you want to go play with and press. And if you haven't been there yet, download the Disney Play app. And when you're in Galaxy's Edge, you can pull up the it's a communicator. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like the Star Wars communicator. And you can interact with all these things. You can walk up to a shipping crate, and you can do the right thing on the app, and you can scan the code on the shipping crate, and it'll show you what's inside with a kind of an infrared view on your phone.
Oh, cool. So what is it called again? I'm going to write this down myself. Star, what is it?
Well, go to, if you probably already downloaded it, but the Disney Play app.
Okay.
There's the Disney Parks app, and then there's the Disney Parks Play app.
Okay.
And you can You can fire up the Galaxy's Edge portion of it, but it only is interactive when you're in the land.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's genius. Well, I will definitely be doing that. I mean, 4 hours, I'm sure that wasn't enough time, but it was enough in the sense to get a taste for it, right?
We got a really good taste for it. And, for us personally, we didn't get enough time, in part because we were doing Facebook Live Facebook Live videos from there as well that everyone could see. So we shared a lot of information live.
Okay. Nice.
But there's a great shopping area with little shops. And one thing that really makes, when they make Cars Land, that really, every land in Disney parks is very themed and very well done, whether it's a country in Epcot or Adventureland and Disneyland. Mm-hmm. But when they built Cars Land, I really felt like I was walking into a scene of a movie. Mm-hmm. And I was impressed by that. But walking into Galaxy's Edge and you're on the planet of Batuu, I really felt like we were there. The cast members dress up. If they're working in a shop, they're the shop owner or the shop assistant. Okay. They're not Joe, the cast member of Disney.
Right. Okay.
There's nothing there there's no Mickey Mouses for sale. Everything is from Batuu or from the Star Wars universe.
Oh, fun. Are there any popular items that you notice kind of being, going out the door quicker than others, just for people that when they make it there, if they want to grab something that might sell out quickly or whatever? Did you notice anything?
There are. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's so many cool things.
Oh really? Okay.
All the shops have very unique things.
Okay.
And then the build your own lightsaber had the longest line, and at $200 a pop, people were going through. There's a long line for that. Wow. But it's really cool. You put it together, and then you do this little ceremony. It lights up for the first time. You put your all that stuff. The build your own robot for $100 was extremely popular, and they're actually more impressive than I expected. Once you build it, it comes alive for the first time. They all have their own personality. And these robots, they interact with different things in the land.
Oh my gosh. So when you're talking about robots, are you talking like little BB-8s or little R2-D2s or other kinds of droids, or what are you referring to when you talk about?
Yeah, they're probably a foot tall or so. And they can be similar to a BB-8 or similar to an R2-D2, but you put it together yourself. There's a body, and then you get all the parts to put on there. And then at one point, you're done putting it together, obviously, and then it comes alive. Yeah. It comes alive. Oh. It has a personality.
Okay.
Someone walked by me near the exit to Smuggler's Run, the Millennium Falcon attraction, and they were carrying a robot, and they come in this cool cardboard box with a handle, and it started shaking and making all kinds of noise. And I'm like, hey, what's going on there? And so that's when they told me it's interactive with the different attractions. It gets close to the Millennium Falcon, it'll act a certain way, or if a stormtrooper comes by, it'll kind of freak out.
Oh, I love it. So the idea then is if you are, I'm going to check that out. I got to get one. I already got my lightsaber, so I'm good for that, but I got to get a little droid. I think that would be so fun. So the idea is you want to get one of those droids right after you do your reservation, I would think, at the cantina, right? And then so you have time to interact. Now, how long does it take to assemble these things? I mean, surely it can't take too long, or people wouldn't spend the time. They'd want to see the land, right? So
yeah. So building your own little robot, that takes just over 9 hours.
Oh yeah,
no, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know. I'm like, what?
I'm just kidding. It can take 10 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on how much you think about each piece and all that. But they help you. There's a cast member there that helps you move along.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Oh, I don't know how I'd bring it home. I'd have to carry it on the airplane in my lap, probably. I'm thinking it wouldn't fit in a suitcase. Oh my goodness. Did you, somebody on here was talking about blue milk. Did you see anybody drinking any blue milk or different did you see anybody eating or drinking some odd looking things while you're there? I know you did. Oh really? Yeah,
absolutely. So the blue milk it's in the town of Batuu, and there's a place where you can buy the blue milk, and it was mixed reactions from what I saw. Some people were like, wow, this is blue, I get to drink blue milk from Star Wars, just like Mark Hamill or Luke Skywalker. And other people are walking away going, wow, that doesn't taste anything like I thought. So I don't know if I like this. So mixed reviews on it.
Okay. All right.
But I didn't try it myself, so I can't tell you the difference.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll tell you is that there's a lot of interactivity in that land right now. Stormtroopers will come by, a lieutenant will come by and interrogate you. You know, do you know any rebel spies? Have you seen one? Ray came up to us at one point and she said, hey, you know, be careful. They're out there looking for people, you know. And then she took off. Just random things. It's really cool.
I absolutely love that. I think that is just, I just can't wait, Don, honestly. I'm just probably going to cry walking in there because it's just been such a long, you know, wait for something like this. It's absolutely fantastic. And, you know, the Millennium Falcon was actually, you know, the original one in Star Wars was sort of an old aircraft in a yard, like kind of wreck, you know. And I just think that to actually have that come to life is really absolutely fantastic. Gosh, thank you, Don, so much for sharing with us. I just got a really neat impression, you know, and everybody will have a different experience. But one last thing, because you did do it in two different kind of, you know, daytime and nighttime. So what happened in the nighttime? Because I'm only going to be there. I have an 11 a.m. Reservation, so I won't see it in the evening. But what did you experience in the evening? Yeah.
You know how when you're walking down Main Street and it's just that right time of day and the lights come on and you almost feel just a little more magical. It's just really cool. This is just times 100. I mean, the land is neat. It was hot out. It felt like a Tatooine, you know, hot deserty feel. But then when it started getting dark, you know, it cooled down a little bit. The lights came on. The lighting is spectacular from all the little shops and buildings to all the way up the spires, the rock spires that go way. They're so huge, and take time to look at those rocks and mountains because it's incredible work they did.
Okay, can you see some of that in the night? Like if you're not in the land, can you see a little bit?
It's difficult to. They've done a good job. I mean, some of the really tall spires you'll see from elsewhere.
Right. Okay.
And they light them up pretty well, kind of like the Cadillac Mountain Range and Cars Land. You know, split up really nicely. Yeah. But it makes everything dramatic. The theming is tremendous. The spaceships light up. Everything's going on.
Wow.
And when you go there, I recommend one thing for you is you're walking. There's going to be so many things hitting you from all sides.
Right.
When you're walking around, listen, because there's going to be noises behind this door over here, and there's this power generator in the middle of the walkway is going to all of a sudden start humming and shaking and buzzing, and just there's so many sounds there to take in.
And immerse you right into the whole thing, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, Don, thank you so much for sharing with us, and I really appreciate it. And I'll let you know how our trip goes when we get back.
Yeah, have a great time. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks. It was great having you. Have a good night. It's beautiful out there tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It really is. It's a great time in the Pacific Northwest.
It sure
Have
is.
a great rest of the show.
Thank you. Okay, bye for now.
All right, bye-bye.
Oh my goodness, that is so amazing. I know, Stan, you were talking about how you get a little bit of dizziness in that on Star Tours. You're going to go anywhere. I think if you take something to counteract the nausea and that, I think it might be worth it to give it a go anyway. So we're going to actually get our second guest, Donna, on the phone and find out a little bit about her experience in Galaxy's Edge. Hi, Donna. How are you?
Hi, Kimberly. Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much. For our listeners out there, Donna has been on my show a few times now, sharing. She's a local, so she gets to experience all kinds of fun things that us non-locals don't necessarily have easy access to. But Donna, I wanted you, if you could tell us first, when did you go and what time of day was your reservation at?
Well, I was listening to Dawn, and we had a very similar experience in the land. And
Okay.
we went on June 3rd, which was like the third day that the land had opened.
Wow.
And we were there from 2 to 6.
Okay.
So we didn't know like all the, ins and outs of it yet. And
Right.
we entered over by Country Bear Jamboree.
Yeah.
Hungry Bear.
Yes.
And what really struck me is, yes, there are noises, but there's no music. You feel like you are in a completely different place. You don't hear anything from the park at all.
Oh, wow.
It's very secluded. It's kind of eerie because you just hear different noises that you do not hear in the park. So
or maybe not normally on planet Earth, right?
Exactly.
In your neighborhood.
You are on a different planet. Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty good too. They must add some good sound barriers or whatever. And now you went with your daughter. So what was your first impression, Donna, when you walked in?
Well, like I said, it was kind of an eerie feeling.
Okay.
And my daughter and I, we Disney bounded as R2-D2 and BB-8.
Oh.
and when we entered, Ray came up to us. There are no lines for the characters. You don't get in line to go have your picture taken with Chewie. Everybody is just kind of mingling with all the other guests. And you're not at an amusement park. You are on the 2. You are at the Black Spire Outpost.
Okay.
So they come up, they talk to you, and you interact with them, and that's about it. I mean, but
Very
it's really cool.
Oh my gosh. I wonder how they're going to work that when it's kind of an open free-for-all, because after the 23rd, there are no more reservations. It's just open. I would imagine they'd have to kind of keep the numbers within a relatively safe, number of people in there, I would think.
Right. Well, they aren't going to have reservations per se, but they are going to have sort of like a fast pass kind of thing. You're going to have to like fast pass, and they're going to give you like a 2-hour window that you can go and visit the land. So it is going to be a little structured. It's not just going to be like a free for all, like you said.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking everybody's going to be, you're going to have the whole of Disneyland and Galaxy's Edge.
I know, no one will be in Disneyland, right?
Yeah. That's where you go ride all the rides, right? Oh, gosh.
Exactly.
And so what did you guys do during your visit? There?
Well, my daughter and I, she wanted a droid. So we went to the droid factory, which is on the complete opposite end of where we entered.
Okay.
But she wanted a droid. And so she waited in line to get into the droid factory. And I waited on the opposite side of the droid factory to buy a special, the 2 gift card. I know I'm not, it looks like the money in Star Wars. It's a gold, looks like a gold geometric shaped coin that you buy. And you put a minimum of $100 on the gift card. Okay. And so we use that money to buy the droid, and then we have a really cool souvenir, from our visit.
Oh, that's a great idea, because I want to do the droid. I really want to. How long did it take her to assemble it?
Assemble it is really super quick. The line takes a long time. It was about 45 minutes. And my line to get the gift card and her line for the droid was exactly the same.
Really?
So it was kind of nice that we tag teamed. And they do sell out of the gift cards. So if you want one, I suggest, having someone wait in line for that. Yeah. And then when you go up and you pay for your droid, and then they give you a basket, and they say, what kind of droid do you want? Do you want an R series or a B series? And she wanted the B. Okay. So they tell you there's 4 different parts that you need to collect. And there's this conveyor belt with all the different droid parts that you get to pick from. There's different colors. There's different head attachments, all these different things. You can completely customize it to what you want. Different colors. And so she loved purple, but she got like a black top to it. And then you go over to an assembly station, and a cast member will help you put it together. It's really pretty quick.
Okay.
And then he sets it in a little like hole, and it like activates your droid for you.
Oh, okay.
And so your droid is activated, and you can go over and buy personality chips.
Oh.
And there are 3 different kinds that you can choose from. There's like the New Order, the dark side.
Yeah.
And then there's the rebels.
Okay.
Or you can get like a smuggler, like a scoundrel chip.
Oh.
So she got the scoundrel chip and put that in there.
Okay, great.
And since we were dressed as Alliance droids, we tried to avoid the stormtroopers and Kylo Ren as much as we could. And we were kind of like ducking into alleyways and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a rebel spy come and approach us, and she wanted our help.
Oh.
So her name is Vi Morarty, and she's part of the Clone War series.
Oh, okay.
And so really cool. I just love the interaction that they have with all the guests.
That is really brilliant. I mean, it really just adds to the whole immersive experience. We were talking about the sounds and things like that you hear, and the lack of music. And of course, the cast members are all dressed up appropriately, but to actually have the characters come and interact with you, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really fun. Really fun.
Wow.
We had a great time, but my daughter was really afraid of the stormtroopers because she was BB-8, so she's scared.
Okay. I was just wondering, now, did you guys make it into the cantina at all, or?
We didn't, but we did try some blue milk.
Did you?
To me, it tasted like Skittles.
Oh.
Like Skittle frosty milk. Yeah.
Okay, so like tons of sugar in your milk.
like a fruity, sugary, frosty milk. Yeah.
Wow. So and it's a liquid, like it's like liquid milk, basically. Oh, I think I can try that.
It's made out of coconut and rice milk.
Oh,
so it's completely vegan and dairy free. So
that's good.
Anybody can have it.
Yeah, that's so good. Now, can you get that over the counter somewhere, or do you have to go into?
Yes, right behind the Droid Factory is the milk.
Okay.
That you can buy.
I'm going to try that. Yeah. I just have to. I have to give it a whirl. I can handle Skittle tasting. I mean, if it was anything really odd or weird, I probably wouldn't try it. I think the blueness of it is going to be interesting anyways,
Yeah, it's a pretty blue.
Nice. And so now so you didn't go into the cantina, but
we didn't go to the cantina, but we did go inside Docking Bay 7. Which is where you can get food, like have a regular lunch or dinner, and they have lots to choose from. And they're all very different, and they're all named after, weird Star Wars things.
Okay. What did you eat?
They make it look very interesting.
Okay.
I can't remember the name. It's Nip. I have no idea.
It's okay. Do you what did you guys eat? Like was it like
it was chicken. It was like crispy chicken.
Okay. Oh, I gotta check that out. Now, and you made it on the attraction? Did you make it on Smuggler's Run?
We did. We did. And it's really cool when you go into the Millennium Falcon itself and you go into that area where, they were playing a game and sitting in that booth, and you can wander around before they call your name. You're part of a flight crew. Okay. And when they call you, like the red group, you have time to take a couple pictures, look around, and then they call you up for your flight, and then everybody goes in. It's really fun.
Oh my gosh. I just can't wait. I think that's going to be so amazing. I think, Dawn was right. And you sound like you guys were both very overwhelmed first walking in because of just everything around.
It is. It's huge. It's 14 acres. It's the biggest land on Disneyland property, and it's just really amazing what they've done.
Wow. I didn't know. You know what?
You do not feel like you were there at Disneyland.
Yeah, I guess not. You know what? I don't think I expected it to be that big, because, you know, the other lands aren't as big as that. That's for sure. Oh, yeah. That is fantastic.
Yeah, this is giant. Yeah.
Okay.
It's really neat.
Okay. So any suggestions for me besides, you know, I know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to pay for my, my droid, and I'm going to definitely try the blue milk. But is there any little, you know, tips that you would suggest for our audience that you might not have heard before this?
Well, when we first got there, we got our picture taken in front of an A-wing, and we had a magic shot with a porg on my arm, which was kind of cool. So that was fun. But I do recommend, you know, the cast members are really great, and they say, this is the line for the cantina, this is the line for the cantina. So I suggest getting in line for the cantina, just making a reservation, because then you go back at your reservation time, so you still have time to roam around and look. But I hear the cantina is just a highlight of the land.
Okay.
So definitely try to get in there.
There's 5 of us, so I think we're going to be going in several different directions as soon as we get in there. We'll map it out.
You have to tag team. You're like, get in that line, get in that line. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I know that that's something that we were thinking about, that we've got to plan out. We'll probably do that while we're sitting at the airport or something like that.
Yes, good idea.
We'll just have to make a plan. I just can't wait. And I told you earlier that I'm really thinking I'm going to get an annual pass for Disneyland, so I can just hop down a little more often than I can go to Walt Disney
World. I would love that.
Yeah, and we'll have to check it out ourselves one time
we
together.
Will be Disneyland buddies.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. You know, I just it's something that you know, in writing the Star Wars book too, I mean, they had no idea. George had no idea how big Star Wars would get. I mean, there was multiple scripts and multiple names for Star Wars before it became the official name of Star Wars, you know. And I just think it was, you know, he actually was in Hawaii when it premiered in London. He didn't realize how popular and how big the movie would be until he saw on the news they were talking about the crazy, you know, showing of all the thousands and thousands of people and how.
Well, it's so funny he would say that, because I remember in the summer of 1976, I was 11, and my parents' friends, they said, there's going to be this really cool movie that comes out next year, and you're going to have to remember the name. And I'm like, okay, what is it? And they go, it's Star Wars. And I go, I'm going to remember that name.
Yeah.
And so the following year, when it came out in 1977, it was just gigantic. I had no idea.
Yeah. No, it was probably one of the biggest surprises in cinematic history, in the sense, because it was a small budgeted movie, you know, and it's really, I'm overwhelmed even talking to the people that have been a part of the film, that have fallen in love with the Star Wars community, that are a part of the Star Wars community, because it is a very special community. And I think this is the dream. This is something that nobody ever could have imagined or foresaw, just being able to see what you saw on the, you know, at the theater on the screen, that you can actually be a part of, you know, apart from taking off and going to the Sahara Desert and going to the, you know, some of the original sets.
Well,
but
all the technology that was even developed because of those movies, because, you know, fans wanted more and more. They created so much amazing technology that is used in all the films now.
Oh my gosh.
It's just amazing.
You know what, don't I have to tell you? So I met this person named Carla at a Disneyana convention last year, and she just messaged me on the show and said, we are there right now. They are actually at Galaxy's Edge right now.
Oh,
Isn't that fun? Oh my gosh. Donna, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. I really, I've got a lot to think about and organize in a very short period of time for our reservation next weekend. And it's hard to believe. I didn't realize, that I would actually be going at this early time. But thank you again and have a great evening. I hope you have a relaxing evening after your day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Okay, take care. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Just want to welcome Dave Ness to the show as well. I think that it's just really amazing what the imagination of, the human beings that created the Imagineers and everybody that created this land from the film, and the brilliant creation of George Lucas himself, because it was him that created this whole story, this whole narrative, and had these things, these characters, the setting all in his mind. And I think it's just such a powerful tribute to the power of one person's idea that has now come so many years later to be in this land. And I just want to tell everybody, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And I hope you can join me next week. That will be my last podcast for the summer. I do take the summers off because I'm a mom first, but I will be podcasting just sort of little short live streams during the summer. But I'd love to share my experience with you next week. And I just wanted to say hello to Melissa as well, who has joined me. And for now, you guys, just have a wonderful week. I wish you all the best. Stay well and be safe. And we'll talk to you next week when I get back. Bye for now.